Okay, we are recording, should be good.
We're good. Recording is on. All right, I will call the December 23rd Executive and Finance Standing Committee meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Carol, Manning. Here. Gill, Glassburner, Woodhouse, Kirk.
Here.
Frank. Here. Williamson.
Here.
Cooey.
Here.
Right, so you have a quorum as of right now.
All right, did you say Manning?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't hear it. Verification of open meeting law compliance.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we properly notified.
Okay. Agenda approval, 15-point agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda as presented? If not, all those in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Minutes from December 6th, 2024 and December 10th, 2024. I looked through them. Anybody else have any questions, comments, additions to the two meetings we had earlier this month? If not, I would declare them approved as printed and presented to us. Public comment. Anybody online for public? They can't hear us?
Candace said she had to call on my camera microphone, don't.
Okay.
Candace is there, just.
Moral support. County low budget. Nobody on public comment. All right, we're gonna go to reports. Can you hear us, Candace?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I had about an hour-long meeting with Tessa today to go over the final, I think, discrepancies as noted by department heads on the wage study. She should be getting that back to me so I can hopefully get that out to department heads to inform their staff on December 26th. She unfortunately has had a family emergency, and I think that's contributed to kind of the back and forth in the past week. So I have emailed them all asking them to give her a little bit of grace at this time with what their family is going through. But we are on track to make sure that everyone will be paid the new rates, all full-time and part-time employees. I need to be clear, anybody working less than 24 hours a week is not on the new scale. That will be phased in as next year's as part of next year's plan. But so that's really, really good news. I am working towards getting everything cleaned up and ready for the transition at this point. Gone through emails. I'm looping Derek in on things that he needs to be looped in on so that he can brief whomever is assigned to be interim. And somebody knows what's going on. So there's that. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else for you.
Anybody with questions for the administrator? All right, thank you. Let's move into item number 8, discussion and possible action. It's a resolution petitioning the Secretary of Transportation for airport improvement aid. That is Derek and myself, and over here is Mark. Mark Higgs can give us a brief what this is. This is the second time that I've been involved with it.
Okay, this resolution is to petition the state and federal government for basically grant money to rehabilitate the terminal building. The terminal building is quite old. It was built in the 1970s. It's been through 3 floods, each time several inches of water on the floor. Badly used siding, roof, windows, air conditioning dates back to the 70s. Is not very efficient. The washrooms are not handicap compliant. And this project would be broken into 2 phases. 2025 is a design phase where get the architects involved and they do the design work. And 2026 would be the construction. The design phase is anticipated to be around $150,000. The federal grant would be $135,000, state $7,500, and the local contribution would be 7,500, with Sauk paying 4,500 and Richland at 3,000. So this money was already put into the airport budget for 2025, so it's already budgeted. And so I think it's a good deal because it's a lot of it's work that we'd end up having to do at county expense if we don't do it with the federal and state. And it breaks down to 90% federal, 5% state, and 5% local.
Derek, on the resolution, Higgins is not, it's Mark Higgs, just a spelling error.
That resolution was, this is the one that we received from SOC, so this is the one that
Oh.
we instructed tonight.
Well, that one, no, I'm talking about our Richland County.
Oh, the cover sheet? Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
cover sheet.
that's just the cover sheet.
Okay.
Good to know though, but yes.
I did presented this, been presented before at the airport commission. This is the wages by county. Mark, you thought, do you remember what year, 4 or 5 years old, isn't it?
Maybe not that much.
Maybe,
We were petitioning for the ditch project, so about 3 years ago.
So it's probably 3 years old. Quite interesting to look at. Yeah, I'll ask the gentleman that put this together for us, but if you look at Richland County, 41%. Mr. Cooley, I'll get you a copy as well. 41% of the, so it's 14 million at that time, almost $14.5 million in wages was being paid to residents of Richland County. So that has changed somewhat probably with the addition of H2A workers and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting to see. Cardinal did a lot for the airport, get the whole ditch project that is now finally completed, right?
Yes, the ditch project's completely done. Basically, we were holding off on renovating the terminal building until we knew we had completely solved the flooding problem. So the ditch project was a major thing to get moved in that direction, and we also had to rebuild the runway. So, but that work's all been done, and Cardinal's made huge investments. They just put up a new huge hangar, very classy hangar, I believe it's around $6 million. And so they're totally committed to the airport and using it almost daily.
So yeah, it's a good addition, and that building is, if we were looking at to build new, Mark can explain that, they wouldn't let us build something that big again, because it's all on, how do you explain?
Well, they've got these
Formula?
for square footage and stuff, and if we demolish the building and start over, we lose a lot of square footage, and also the basic building has good bones, I think. It just needs all, the siding and windows and roof and all those items to bring it back, get it back up to speed.
And kind of the hurry of putting it on tonight was we need to get it into the feds by the sooner the better.
As soon as possible, so they can do the selection process for the consultants.
Anybody with questions for Mark in regards to the resolution mentioning the Secretary of Transportation? Anybody online with questions for Mr. Higgs? Okay, I would entertain a motion to move this on to full county board. Mr. Frank, second by Mr. Manning. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of moving this resolution on to the full county board, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you much.
And you
Yeah.
have to do too.
Drive safely. Item 9. Discussion and possible action approval to accept proposal from Public Administration Associates, LLC. Is that you, Derek? Or
Yeah,
one-
well, Dave, but I gave
Dave,
you
all
a
right.
copy of the packet. There's paper one and there's one also in your folder. We just got this, it's hot off the press, if you will, so.
Yep.
Just uploaded today, actually getting back, so. Yeah, there.
So, you should be familiar with PAA. They are the search firm we worked with the last time to find our administrator. Once Candace tendered her resignation, one of the first conversations I had was with John Hokemer, just to see if we could re-engage with them because they provided good service to us last time. They were very familiar with Richland County, of course, as John had served as interim administrator before, and were able to very quickly put together a proposal to assist us again this time. If you look at it, You'll notice at the end of it, one of the examples they use is for the last Richland County search they conducted, so you can see what it would look like. It'd be very similar, they'll change the dates and a few numbers, things like that. If you key in on the finance part, you can see what they're talking about for. John did mention that there are some tentative dates here in this proposal. We wouldn't necessarily be held to those because they're talking about having a kickoff meeting on January 3rd. We probably actually wait till Candace's departure before we have a kickoff meeting. But generally speaking, you can see the idea of the timeline they're looking at. We would expect to, with processes and interviews and everything, it'll probably be late April, early May, realistically, for a new administrator full-time to start. So we're looking at having an interim for a while, and this would be the work they would do for us while we're searching for an administrator. If you look at the summary of proposed costs, they are giving us a $1,000 discount because they've got a lot of our stuff from the last time they can reuse, so they don't have to spend time creating it. There are some options there. If we opt to have a virtual kickoff meeting versus in person, that would save us $400. If we opt to have a virtual approval of documents meeting, that would save us another $400. They highly recommend the emotional intelligence assessments of the candidates, but if we opt not to do that, that would save us $1,900. You're talking about $22,750 versus $20,050 with the deduction. So I'm not sure how much we want to be picky and choosy over, the $400 virtual kickoffs or anything like that. But, if one of those makes sense or both of them make sense being virtual, that does save us a little bit of money. And then you can look through the rest of the proposal. It would be essentially the same service they did for us before, conducting the search, screening, vetting people, bringing them to us for interviews, and then working through some negotiation with the candidate that we select. They also, as part of their service, would do an exit interview with the current administrator for us. Any questions on this?
So bumping the date past January 3rd, does that change the entire schedule?
It may lengthen it by a few days. It's not going to throw us off by weeks. Assuming we have it again right around the time Candace departs, so we're talking maybe a week later. I was talking to John, and David was the one that actually put this together, and so John said, well, he threw some dates in. If those don't work for you, we can adjust those.
I guess I'm of the mindset sooner the better. If a few days isn't going to make a difference, and I would also defer to Candace, not trying to step on toes or anything, but I also know you have a concern, want to make sure things go smoothly. So I would see if you had any comments or problems with that, Candace.
No, I have none, and I'd be happy to help with whatever it is you all would like me to help with as well. So I won't be offended if you decide to move on prior to my departure in any way, shape, or form. I completely understand.
Yeah, all right. And when are you back by chance to the county?
I will be back in county late on the 3rd of January.
Okay. I'll catch up to you then. Thank you.
Yeah, and John has talked with him briefly too. I think he's leaving on the 6th for Florida, so that kickoff meeting may be virtual, which is really not that big. We've done it before with them, so.
Yeah, I'd still say we stick it to the 3rd. If she's going to be gone the 6th, all of a sudden he's gone a week. Now we're 2 weeks behind. I'm not in favor of that. I'd say if we're going
We
to
can
get the
certainly
3rd,
try to get them in at the earliest convenience.
yeah, if we can get the 3rd, let's get the 3rd. Let's get as early as we can.
Okay.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Mr. Coy, any thoughts?
Oh, I'm good. Whatever we want to do.
When are you gonna put your resume in?
Never happened.
Okay.
Is this the process we have to take to keep our interim?
Well, when we get to our closed session, I can talk more about the conversations John and I had. That's an option we could do, but we had good luck conducting a wide search before. If we do a wide search, certainly anybody can apply. And so
Yep. So we have. Yes, we do need. Or,
This to the board.
Yep. We actually, the idea would be, actually, we probably couldn't do this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
Well, we're gonna have a,
Special meeting on the seventh.
our plan is to have a special meeting on the
the
seventh.
third's out.
So we might be able to do, like the eighth would be a Wednesday, I believe, without looking at the
Yeah,
calendar.
if they're available.
So,
Right, and I agree, early possible to me.
yeah. So, yeah,
I would so move to move this on to the county board.
Second.
seconded by Turk. Any other further discussion? If not, all those in favor of moving this on to the full county board, and our plan is to probably have a special meeting on January 7th. Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. That is done. So they're gonna have to wait for Mr. Woodhouse. We have enough to go into closed session, but we don't have enough to be in closed session.
You can remain in closed session.
Yeah, we just can't come out.
That's right. Joe Woodhouse gets. We could do it that way. But he can't get into closed session. Can he?
You can walk in. He's a county member.
No, I mean, when we go into closed session, he has to be present to be. Or once he gets here, we can let him in.
Once he gets here.
Well, sure.
Committee member.
All right.
You'd have to proactively take the vote to exclude him if you didn't want him.
Yeah.
For
the ones-
So if we're gonna leave Mark on, I have to get everyone off.
Right, yeah, we would have to.
I mean, I have to shut everything off, so Mark's not gonna go.
Are we gonna need, are we gonna need Mark?
Have a forum in closed session. Him coming out.
Yeah.
Mark can hang out and wait if he wants to, or.
Right.
Hey, Marky, do you want us to, I can text you when we're gonna come up, when we get out of closed session, if you wanna be back in it for a little bit?
Doesn't matter to me, whichever you want to do.
Here comes the other-
Okay. Mr. Woodhouse should be here around 5:40, so then we'll have enough closed session to come out of closed session and to conduct any business that may partake from the closed session. So I'll text you, and if you're not available, we should be okay.
But do you?
Sounds good.
You think I should call Craig to say, Craig, regardless of where you're at, we need you to come here? Because I don't want you to go in there and then we find out Craig can't make it.
We could take a recess and just make
Yes.
sure he's still coming.
If you want to do that, and then
Yeah.
give you a chance to come home.
All right, yep. We'll take a quick recess. Yeah, Derek is going to check in with Mr. Woodhouse. Thank you, Mark and Candace. WRCO News. Plan is on there. So Merry Christmas to everyone. That is coming very quick. Hope you all have my presents ready.
Pausing the recording.
All right, thank you. We're back recording. All right, so. Up and up. Item number 10, closed session. I would entertain a closed session pursuant to, we're going to go concerning employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. And or what we're dealing with, appointment of interim county administrator. Entertain a motion to go into closed session by Mr. Manning, seconded by Mr. Frank. In the closed session, we'll have Mr. Elder as well. So,
Our clerk and our court counsel.
and clerk and court counsel. All those in favor of going into closed session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And clerk Kaylee, unanimous vote to go into closed session. Got it.
Here's some little- Okay, we are recording in sound should be restored, so we are back in open session at 6:03. Okay.
We'll see if he wants to join us, but probably not. So I did tell him I would let him know. All right, so we have returned to open session. So we have some action to take care of that was discussed in closed session. And that would be a resolution to full county board. it would be named to appoint Derek, our current clerk, as the interim administrator, and Josh Elder as our deputy interim administrator. Is that correct? Okay,
Just for clarification, it'll be on top of their current duties for both of them.
yep.
And Attorney Wendell will be developing
The
MOUs for both of them with financial terms and everything, so.
And that we don't, how much, we don't put the financial stuff.
It'll be
in.
part of what we have for the full board.
Yep.
Motion to do that.
Motion by Manning, seconded by Mr. Woodhouse. Any further discussion on what we are planning to send to full county board? And again, for Craig's information, we're planning a special meeting January 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of moving it on to full county board on January 7th, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Good. Correspondence, Mr. Kalish. Agenda items, so we're gonna shoot for January 7th, the special meeting.
Of the county board.
Yep. Full county board. For here,
January 14th will be your next, the second Tuesday will be January 14th.
14th is there.
We might have to go before then, and
Yeah, we may
we
actually
got
have,
any,
Yeah.
because I think, was that in the contract itself? Will be the selection committee like before. They would present I don't know if it was in there, I haven't read it word for word, but they would be presenting, PAA would be presenting to us. You know, the kickoff meeting would be to executive and anybody else on the county board. Yeah, could join. It won't be in closed session or anything like that. So,
For future agenda items, Mr. Chair, discussion of the ethics board. If it's going to be anything other than a redesignation of this committee, then that discussion needs to be had, and it's probably going to need to be a thorough one. More than just a.
yeah, because did we put
We put a time.
we did
Set on
it May?
Yep.
March, okay. Yep, yeah, somebody gets to start working on that.
Yep. I had that on my.
All right.
good job for.
That's the thing, is that there's been no direction as to what we should be working on.
Yeah,
So
right, those.
we'll need that.
Okay. Yeah, we need to, yeah, definitely, and that'll be coming up. So our meeting is on the 14th. And a possible special meeting for the kickoff meeting. Possible. So we'll stay tuned, and I'll let everybody else know that wasn't here tonight. We'll see them probably January 7th. Oh, and we can talk about it once. All right, any other future agenda items? All right, Mr. Manning? Motion to adjourn by Manning, seconded by Mr. Woodhouse. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Merry Christmas. Gary's headed home.
Happy, very much, Josh, thank you.